Brilliance Audio presents The Amber Secret by David Leadbeater, performed by Pete Simonelli. Demons danced in the hearth. Dante Caruso gazed into the fireplace, wondering if it might be the reflective image of what roiled inside his head. The people he knew called him half crazy. "Look, the mad Italian's here," they would say, laughing and joking when he approached. To them, his rhetoric was a confused stream of words, barely intelligible. Still, they often bought the items he brought back from his travels: ancient artifacts, old statues, and pottery. The income from these sales barely kept his family clothed. Caruso knew, at some level, that he could do better for them, but his obsession was too strong. He was certain that the great prize waited for him over the horizon. Caruso nursed a pint of beer, drawing the glass close into his chest. Its amber glow, enhanced by the firelight, brought into sharp focus everything that had taken place during the last few days. It had finally happened. Years of failure and drudgery had paid off. He'd followed some obscure Second World War trail to look for an infamous treasure, and, he could scarcely believe it even now, he had found it. "I found it. Yes, me." The words felt alien to his brain. Caruso wasn't used to major success. Only once before could he remember a winning day, a day when he'd felt he'd beaten everything that life could throw at him, and that had been over 8 years ago now. It was the day his son, Marco, had been born. Caruso had experienced clarity for a brief span of time, as he'd realized a true treasure had come into existence, but obsession was insatiable, always chipping away at the corners of his mind. "I am an explorer, a treasure hunter. I must go on." Caruso lifted the glass and swallowed a mouthful of beer. The passion inside remained strong, but it was riddled with frustration. Angrily, he replayed the first conversation that he'd had with his wife, Anna, on returning from his quest. "I have succeeded. Finally. It is everything I ever knew that I could find." "You stink." Anna had refused to come across their small kitchen to stand near him. "Always, it is the same. You vanish for entire weeks and then come back with some insane story. And you find a goblet, a knife, a broken shield. When will it end, Dante? When?" "I am not a good father," he had asked. "A good husband?" Anna bowed her head and did not answer. Caruso took a moment to sit down at the kitchen table. "I am trying to provide in the only way I know how." "Yes." Anna came over to him then and took his head in her arms. "I know. But since the onset of your memory loss—" "Do you want me to tell you what I found?" His question was muffled by her sleeve. Anna flicked her eyes around the room. "Why not show me? You usually do that." Caruso frowned as the jumbled thoughts inside his head focused for a brief few minutes. This tended to happen whenever he thought about his beloved treasure-hunting adventures. "I found a cave full of treasures," he said. "Each one beyond anything I have found before, rows upon rows, but one, the one, could not be transported. It is too heavy." He felt Anna become tense. "So, you have come home with nothing?" I... Caruso couldn't form the words. Reality hit him, and the brief moment of clarity faded. Anna pulled away, moving to the old stained sink and leaning over it with her head in her hands. "We have nothing left," she whispered. Caruso immediately wanted to reassure her that this latest find would set them up for life. But again, confusion riddled his brain, and he found that his tongue was tied. Finally, he rose. "I will begin now," he said. Her head lifted slightly. "Begin?" "To put the word out, to describe my find to friends and colleagues, to customers. I will gather together a trusted group who will return with me to unearth the greatest find in history." Anna's shoulders began to shake as she cried. "They won't believe you," he heard her whisper. "They know about the dementia, and they just won't believe you." He walked out, determined to restore her faith in him.